Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going deep
Okay.
into construction,
Sounds good.
but not like the hard hats and concrete kind of construction.
Yeah, sure.
We're talking about Gold Seal certification
Oh, okay.
and how it connects to this really important competency,
Okay.
which is to communicate clearly and ethically.
I like it.
So think of it like
Yeah.
the Olympics,
Okay.
but for project management,
Right.
but with a big focus on doing things the right way, ethically.
Like a black belt.
Exactly, yeah, a black belt in project management.
That's a great way to put it.
But it's not just about checking things off a list, right?
No, absolutely not.
It's really about the core values of this whole industry,
Yeah.
like trust, transparency, and being accountable for your actions.
Exactly. We're diving deep into how those values, they actually show up in real world actions
I'm ready.
on these huge construction projects that we see all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we've all heard the stories about, budgets going crazy,
Oh, yeah.
projects taking way longer than they should,
All the time.
and just fingers pointed everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So how does this Gold Seal certification, help us avoid all that?
That's really where this whole competency that we're talking about comes in.
Okay.
Construction has so many moving parts.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You got your architects and engineers, the contractors, all the subcontractors,
Yeah.
and they all have to be on the exact same page.
Yeah.
If their communication breaks down, things can really fall apart quickly.
Makes total sense. So the material we're looking at today mentions conducting activities in a professional and ethical manner.
Right.
But what does that even mean
Yeah.
practically?
Well, it's definitely more than just being polite on a job site.
Right.
We're talking about following the industry standards, the legal requirements, and just acting with integrity in every single interaction.
Right.
Think about negotiating contracts, dealing with disputes, even just daily communication.
Mm-hmm.
It all has to be done ethically.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I'm seeing this phrase pop up a lot.
Yeah.
Compliance with codes and standards.
Right.
Why is that so important? Especially for ethical conduct.
It's like trying to build a skyscraper with no blueprints.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Industry standards are those blueprints
Yeah.
for doing things ethically.
Okay.
They help everyone understand their roles
Okay.
and make sure that the project is done safely and according to the codes.
Yeah.
In Canada, we often use something called CCDC contracts for this.
CCDC contract. Okay, so break that down for me. I've never heard of those. What are those?
So CCDC stands for the Canadian Construction Documents Committee.
All right.
And basically, they make these standardized contracts.
Oh,
They're used across the industry,
Mm-hmm.
like the rule book for how projects should run,
Okay, yeah.
covering, from the bidding process to how you get paid
Right.
to how you resolve disputes.
So how do these CCDC contracts actually promote ethical behavior?
Well, let's look at CCDC too.
Okay.
That one's all about transparency.
Okay.
It requires that everyone is communicating clearly.
Mm-hmm.
They have thorough documentation,
Okay.
and there are fair processes for dealing with any disagreements.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But even with the perfect contract,
Oh, yeah.
disagreements still happen. Right.
Of course.
So how do you, administer the contract fairly
Exactly.
when things get tough?
You're right. That's where another one of the CCDC contracts, CCDC 8, comes in.
Okay.
It gives you a structured way to handle those disputes
Okay.
fairly and ethically.
Right.
So whether it's about payments or changes to the project, even major conflicts, the focus is always on keeping that trust
Right.
and those fair relationships going.
So it's not just about avoiding getting sued.
Right.
It's about something bitter.
Exactly. It's about building a reputation for doing things the right way
Right.
with integrity.
Yeah.
And that ultimately means smoother projects,
Makes sense.
better partnerships, better results for everyone.
Okay, so we talked about contracts.
Right.
We've talked about standards.
Yeah.
But what about just the people involved?
Oh, yeah.
The human element.
Right.
The source material also mentions respectful communication.
It's crucial.
I mean, that sounds kind of basic, but I bet there are nuances to it, especially when you're in a high-pressure field like construction.
You're absolutely right. Construction can be super stressful,
Yeah.
and things can get heated when those deadlines are close and budgets are tight.
Mm.
But even then, ethical communication means staying professional,
Yeah.
no matter what.
So how do you keep that respectful communication when everyone's stressed out?
It comes down to clear, documented communication. And actually, those notices and writing clauses in the CCDC contracts, they really emphasize that.
Okay.
Let's say a contractor wants to change something on the project.
Okay, yeah.
By putting that request in writing, everyone has a clear record of what was said.
Yeah.
So you can minimize misunderstandings or disputes later on.
I like it. I like it. So, okay, now for something a little more, I guess, personal,
Yeah.
conflict of interest management. What does that even look like in construction?
Imagine a project manager who also owns part of a subcontracting company.
Okay.
Can they really be unbiased when they're making decisions on the project?
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Ethical conduct means you got to recognize these situations
Yeah,
and manage them to make sure everything is fair
that makes sense.
and transparent.
It's like checks and balances almost,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's all about finding those potential conflicts
Right.
before they become a problem.
Yeah. I think this whole deep dive is really, really emphasized.
Yeah.
That ethical conduct, it's not just, some fluffy concept.
Yeah.
It's essential
Yeah.
to a successful construction project.
Couldn't agree more. And for anyone going for their Gold Seal certification, it's a big deal.
Right.
It's a real commitment to the highest standards.
Yeah.
And that benefits everyone in the end.
This has been really insightful. So for everyone listening, here's a final thought. Think about the projects and collaborations in your own life.
Yeah.
At work, at home, anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
How can you use these same ideas?
Right.
Clear communication, fairness, integrity.
Absolutely.
How can you use those in your own interactions?
Something to think about,
It is.
no matter what you do.
No matter what you do.